r/AskReddit created by routinereddit. What 2000 song will always be a banger? I'm at a DJ gig at a bar right now. This is very helpful. Well, I guess tonight we are saving the DJ's life. Heads will roll. Yes. Maps 2. Y Control. Fever to Tell is my favorite album, and I think Y Control is my favorite song on there. It's so good. And Zero. Wait, They Don't Love You Like I Love You. And Gold Lion. Maps is a great song, but I wouldn't call it a banger. Not exactly something you can rock out to. Fun fact, and I think I've mentioned it before, but I was working an overpass job testing video games for a large company about 10 years back, and I had chronic pain. Terrible burning and itching, like having a bladder infection all the time. It was neuropathic. At the time I would play music to distract me while I was working, but one day I forgot my iPod or Discman, or whatever the heck we had back then. But I was testing iPhones, and sometimes we had to test music playing while the games were playing to see if that would break anything. Surely we must have some music we can put on the iPods. One song. Heads Will Roll. Yes. So for nearly a full 8-hour shift, it was Heads Will Roll on repeat. Got me through the night. That and Limot Regine. Ride with me, Nelly. I must be the Monet. I must be the honey. Honey Nut Cheerios. I pass me the money. Kids and Electric Feel, both by MGMT. What about Time to Pretend? Such a sad but great song. Time to Pretend is MGMT's best song emo. Congratulations. Little Dark Age. When you die. I'm not that nice. I'm mean, and I'm evil. Definitely best song of new album. No One Knows. Queens of the Stone Age. Also 3's and 7's, and Feel Good hit of the summer. Also every Queens of the Stone Age song. Same for them Crooked Vultures. Lesser known, very similar music, which makes sense considering it's Josh Homme and Dave Grohl, who frequently played together on Kotzab albums, with the addition of John Paul Jones. One of my favorite bands ever. I have 2 tattoos directly related to bands, and one of them is they're a vulture character. Love them so much. This GBH. Little Sister. 666. Mr. Brightside or Float On by Modest Mouse. I cannot get over how much I love Float On. I really hated when Loop Fiasco released The Show Goes On. I asked people if they heard Float On or about Modest Mouse, and they looked at me like I was mentally challenged. But why? The Show Goes On isn't a cover of Float On. They aren't the same vibe at all. It's definitely more than a sample. The same chords, sped up, added a couple, maybe? And kept the same lyrical rhythm to the chorus. Even Loop didn't really like the song. It was so fitting, says Loop of the Pistols reference, because The Show Goes On was put to me at gunpoint. It was, if you don't do The Show Goes On, your album's not coming out. I had nothing to do with that record, nothing. I was literally told how I should rap on it. But I'm a bastard, cause I'll turn around and put it back in your face. A thing called Love by the Darkness. The music video was wild. There's a homemade one they did which is shot for shot the same as the proper one, but without costumes and sets and special effects. It's amazing. Franz Ferdinand, Take Me Out. Jet, Are You Gonna Be My Girl? The intro to Take Me Out is so dang good. It's still my phone's ringtone, because it is still my favorite song. Take Me Out is my karaoke song, because of that intro. Missy Elliott, Work It. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it, backwards. I didn't know until last week that the backward part was her just saying that. Amazing. I never knew this. I was always like WTF. Day and Night. Pursuit of Happiness. Another great song by QD as soundtrack to my life. Up and Away is fire too. Can't forget about Make Her Say and Erase Me. Just What I Am is my favorite by him. King Wizard Anyone. The Prayer is less of a club banger, but my personal fave. Erase Me is my favorite Kid Cudi track, but technically it came out in 2010, so it doesn't count for this thread. Cudi's Own was always my favorite from that album. Criminally underrated song lost among timeless classic after timeless classic off that album. People Sleep on Intergalactic. Get Ready Let's Go. Drop It Like It's Hot by Snoop Dogg will forever be drilled in my mind. Snoop. I can hear this comment. Me, you can't hear comments. Also me, hold my gin and juice. Misery Business. I've fallen back in love with Paramore lately. That's What You Get is still my all-time favorite. My wife showed me Rose Colored Boy a few months back, and they've had a part in every playlist I've made since. It's crazy. They've become a lot like Incubus in the absolute best way. I have never heard that song before. I looked it up after reading your comment and I have to admit it's pretty good. It has a cool 80s feel to it. Definitely check out the music video. If you haven't, it's a parody of old 80s news stations. Oh, wow, this is really 80s. I think Studios did a super meme version a year or so ago. They really took a risk with using a less popular song/artist that should have done a lot better than it did. New Paramore really isn't on a lot of people's radar, unfortunately, but I really love their new stuff. I was emo/goth as a teen and somehow never got into them, but I recently got into nostalgic music and I decided to look Paramore up just cause I remembered Misery Business and holy wow am I obsessed with the song Hard Times. Everything about it, the upbeat tone to a song about how hard times will mess you up, the way it's sang, and the cherry is that little, but I'm not gonna hit rock bottom. Any other song suggestions from Paramore? I have Hard Times, Misery Business, Told You So, and Ain't It Fun. The whole After Laughter album. One More Time by Daft Punk. The whole album is one of my all-time faves. I assume you're already across it, but if not, check out Interstellar 5555. It's essentially a filmed clip for the whole album with a cohesive storyline, and no dialogue outside of lyrics. They played it on Cartoon Network one time late at night, before Adult Swim existed, and I started watching it not knowing what it was, but 12-year-old me just got absolutely sucked in. I couldn't look away. It was amazing. Keep in mind, at the time I didn't really have musical tastes and I didn't watch anime, so for it to overcome those things, it must have been amazing. And it was. I went out and bought the Discovery CD shortly afterwards, and it was the first album I ever owned. I wore out the case, and then the CD itself went to get, because I was a stupid kid, but that's because I loved it. To this day, I think it's some of the only music I've ever owned on physical media. I still remember that night in 2001/2002, staying up until almost dawn to watch Interstellar 5555. I wish I could relive that moment in my life for the first time again. I would get so excited when clips of Interstellar and Gorillaz music videos would come on Cartoon Network. I would cheer on Discovery singles as they climbed up the top 40 chart in my country. Stardust, music sounds better with you. A Daft Punk side project whose music video is exactly what you just described. I had known Daft Punk, but never had seen this. We watched it after taking some mushrooms and lem tell you, that crap is fantastic. We had a tough time understanding whether the music video was made for the music or vice versa. No, it was just so perfectly synced and emotional. To this day, something about us makes me stop in my tracks wherever I am. Favorite part is during One More Time, because when you hear the envelope filter in the song, that makes things sound muted. That equates to cutting to a room inside a building on a planet where music is playing everywhere, so it sounds just like music is playing outside where you are. Kinda hard to describe, but the whole album Discovery is easily one of the best I've heard and solidified Daft Punk as a band I just can't help but come back to. Something About Us is hands down my favorite song on the album, but I rarely see it mentioned. Steady As She Goes by the Raconteurs. Help Me Stranger from their newest album is a genuine bop. That whole album is excellent. I listened to the album exclusively for like 3 days when I saw it last night. The entirety of Is This It is a 2000's banger, honestly. Well, the U.K version with New York City Cops instead of When It Started. I had a vinyl with New York City Cops on it, but I guess I never knew about it being on a different version of the disc. I was lucky enough to see them and the White Stripes in Detroit in 2001. Freaking dream team. Thank you for this top 10 album of past 20 years undoubtedly. New York City record labels, they ain't so bright. It came out like 2 weeks after 9/11, so it might have been smart. Wikipedia says it actually dropped on 9/11. Every time we touch by Cascade, pretty sure this is the radio jam that got my friends and me into techno, then electro, then hardstyle, DNB, jump style, trap, etc. Every anime MV ever. In the end, Linkin Park, Bring Me to Life, Evanescence. God, we were so angry then. That song was how to make any space erupt into dance in 07. It's how you make any space erupt into dance today. I request this song every single time I'm in a club and everyone always goes nuts. Utter banger. Same here, and it's amazing when they actually play it.